Have you ever wondered why Catholics celebrate a special feast for Mary in December? It's not about Jesus' birth, but something even more extraordinary. Today, we're diving into a mystery that's captivated believers for centuries. Welcome to the Heart of Catholicism YouTube channel, The Catholic Path to Peace, where God's faith changes our lives. The Feast of the Immaculate Conception, celebrated on December 8th, is one of the most significant Marian feasts in the Catholic Church. It emphasizes God's unique work in preparing Mary to be the mother of Jesus, but here's where many people get confused. This feast isn't about Jesus' conception. Instead, it celebrates Mary's own conception in the womb of her mother, St. Anne, free from the stain of original sin. This feast is so important that in many Catholic countries, it's a holy day of obligation. That means Catholics are required to attend Mass, highlighting the feast's significance not just historically, but in the Church's daily liturgical life. So, what's the deeper theological meaning behind this celebration? The Immaculate Conception teaches us that Mary was preserved from original sin from the very first moment of her existence. She was redeemed in advance through the merits of Christ's sacrifice, applied to her in a unique way. Theologically, this was part of God's grand plan of salvation. Mary had to be a pure, sinless vessel to bear the Son of God. This feast is often connected to a powerful verse in Genesis 3:15, where God says, "I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers." In Catholic tradition, this woman is seen as Mary, whose sinless life stands in total opposition to the power of sin and Satan. But how did this belief develop over time? In the early Church, Christians already honored Mary for her holiness, calling her all holy, or Panagia in Greek, while the doctrine wasn't yet clearly defined. This devotion pointed to a special grace given to Mary. Throughout the Middle Ages, brilliant minds like Blessed John Duns Scotus defended the idea that Mary could be free from original sin by a unique application of Christ's redeeming power. It was a topic of intense theological debate and devotion. Then, in 1854, something remarkable happened. Pope Pius IX solemnly proclaimed the dogma of the Immaculate Conception in his papal bull Ineffabilis Deus. This declaration confirmed what many Catholics had long believed and celebrated. But God wasn't finished yet. Just a few years later, in 1858, Mary appeared to a young girl named Bernadette in Lourdes, France. And how did Mary identify herself? As the Immaculate Conception. For many, this was seen as a divine confirmation of the papal dogma. Now, let's talk about how Catholics celebrate this feast today. On December 8th, you'll find Catholics around the world attending Mass, joining processions, and offering special prayers in honor of Mary. Some communities go all out with festivals, candlelight vigils, and beautiful Marian hymns. What makes this feast even more special is its timing during the Advent season. As Catholics prepare their hearts for the coming of Christ, they also reflect on Mary's unique role in salvation history. She becomes a powerful model of purity, obedience, and faith. Her yes to God isn't just a historical event. It is a living example for all believers to follow in their daily lives. But why does this matter for Catholics today? The doctrine of the Immaculate Conception reminds us that grace can truly transform human lives. Just as Mary was preserved by God's grace, we're all called to cooperate with that same grace in our own journey of holiness. Mary's life becomes an inspiration for resisting sin and living faithfully. She shows us that holiness isn't some abstract concept, it's lived out through humility, trust, and obedience to God. In a world that often feels chaotic and confusing, Mary stands as a beacon of hope and purity. That's why Catholics are encouraged to turn to Mary for intercession and guidance, especially in times of struggle. She's both a mother and a model, offering help through prayer and devotion. When life gets tough, many find comfort in knowing they have a heavenly mother who understands and cares. As we wrap up our exploration of this beautiful feast, it's important to remember that the Immaculate Conception isn't just about Mary. It is ultimately about God's saving power and grace revealed in her life. It celebrates Mary's unique role, her purity, and her cooperation with God's plan of salvation. So, how can we apply this to our own lives? I invite you to honor Mary through prayer, devotion, and by imitating her virtues in your own families and communities. Maybe it's showing more patience with a difficult family member or trusting God even when life doesn't make sense. Now, I'd love to hear from you. How does Mary's example inspire you in your daily life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more Catholic content exploring faith, tradition, and spirituality. Remember, just as God prepared Mary for her special role, He's working in your life too. Stay open to His grace and let Mary's example guide you closer to Christ. Until next time, may God bless you and keep you in His loving care.